What is going on? It's your boy James King, aka Dougie, back again on the mic. You know the voice, episode 31. Had to hop back in it quick. Didn't want any time to go by. I've already been working. I've already been lining people up, so I wanted to have this guest on, a very special one. Before we get to her, just a couple announcements, just to announce everything. If you haven't seen, episode 30 is on YouTube. It is a full production now. And you guys can watch it on there. You can still listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, but we are now on YouTube. You can find that at A Session with Dougie on YouTube. You can just search that, and that should pop up. If not, links will be in this description. Now, I had to put a review of the sea moss in real quick. I did it on my Instagram story, but I wanted to bring it to the podcast now that it's been like a month or so now, and I've been using it, and I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Moo again. This shit works amazing. It's a herbal supplement. Go listen to the episode where we discuss a lot of details with that. But after you listen to it and you're listening to this one, let me tell you, sea moss is one of the best things that I've honestly tried in a minute. I've been working out crazy, doing an insane amount of cardio that I haven't done in years. And you'll hear me talk about on that podcast how I used to be running 7 miles and things like that, and I haven't done that in a while. But now your boy is clocking 10 and a half on an elliptical. Now, it's not the same as running, 10 and a half miles but I got bad feet, and people in here know that. But 10 and a half on the elliptical, hour straight, getting off, no problem, not out of breath, and I still smoke weed every day. So I go check that out. Go to Body Prosperity, sea moss, tell them Dougie sent you. May or may not get you anything, but the sea moss alone is what's up, and y'all should try that shit. Because again, I feel amazing. Complete 180. And then last but certainly not least, November 3rd. By the time this comes out, what day is it? It's gonna be it's the 24th of October now. So by the time this comes out, it'll probably be out. Or maybe before or after Election Day, but if you happen to get this before, please go out and vote. It is very, very important. Even if you don't keep up with politics, I don't know how you can at this point. We're literally, everything around us is burning in America right now. It feels like poverty. Everything feels like poverty. We have, I don't want to get political, but you know who our president is, and we know we got to make better decisions. And I personally, 4 years ago, was one of the people that did not go out and vote. I had my reasons, but basically I was up at school, and they didn't allow us to vote at school, or I didn't do enough research on it. Very, immature stuff on my part. I should have voted, and I felt it immediately. That night after he was elected, I immediately felt like a dirtbag piece of shit that had actually happened. So now I'm not gonna make the same mistake twice. There's no way I'm gonna make the same mistake twice after this 4 years. It's very important to us. I'm 25 now. A lot of the stuff that's going to be happening within the next 4 or 5 years is stuff that's going to be affecting us. So as much as you think voting isn't important, if you choose not to vote now, you're going to be close to 30 by the time this next presidency is over. And you're definitely going to regret it. So it's very important that you guys go and vote for the people in Jersey. If you don't want to vote for presidency, do it anyway, but do it while you're filling out the legalization box on the back as well. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get your ballot, you're going to want to flip your ballot, and you're going to see the box for legalization, and what you're going to want to do is check that off. Even if you don't smoke pot, there are a ton of people, I'm sorry if you heard that bird in the background, Toucan Sam, but there is a ton of people locked up right now in jail over a flower that we see on social media that other people, especially disproportionately arrested, Black people or people of minority are incarcerated for what is simply a flower. So if you guys can just vote, even if, like I said, even if you don't smoke weed, vote to legalize, get some people out of jail. And I know what you're probably thinking. You don't want a lot of stoner people running around your state, driving and shit like that. But people are already doing it. People drive around with alcohol and whatnot, drinking and driving. That's very normal to people, and this is just as dangerous. I mean, smoking weed and driving is not the greatest thing in the world either, but, it's already dangerous, and prohibition has never solved anything. Go back in the day when you've seen alcohol get, they had the whole thing with alcohol, and people still found a way to get speakeasies. Like, this is very important, and not from a smoking aspect, because regardless of if this gets pushed through or not, I'm still going to smoke a good amount of pot, not a shit ton, because that sounds irresponsible, but I'm still going to smoke the same amount of pot that I did if it wasn't. But it's more important to get those people out of jail, let people monetize this. It's just a flower. And I'm tired of seeing white people on Twitter, on these Uber Facts pages, making, for example, and we'll talk about it, I'm sure soon, fucking weed wines and shit like that, and are able to capitalize and, do all these types of videos, and it's looked at as a good thing. And there's tons of minorities, blacks, that are arrested for just carrying apes. And God forbid, if you go back a couple of years, you got people on their third strike for a fucking flower and having to do life for that shit. So get out, vote for the president, vote for legalization, get out there and do it. It is very important. And then one last shout out before we get into it. We got my boy Paul on the production, on the cameras, and we got Nia over here locking it up, being the glue, doing whatever she does, you feel me? So we got the crew in here. We got my boy Trav in here. Nakel is in here as well. And we got my guest, what we're going to get to on the roll-up, my good sis Kiera. But instead of calling it the roll-up today, we're going to call it the pour-up, because I've already rolled up and we got some wine here and we're going to be sitting here and smoking. So let me introduce y'all to my good sis Kiera. How we doing today?
Hey.
Thanks for making the drive up.
Anytime.
I'm very, very glad to have you here. We had Travis on early on, and for people who don't know, Travis is my good sis, but she's also with my good brother, Travis.
Travis is your good bro.
Travis is my good. Travis, what did I say? Did I say my good
sis?
Oh no, well, Travis is my good bro, and then my good sis is with my good bro. Excuse me, already. I didn't even touch the weed yet, but yes. Glad to have you here. Appreciate you driving up again. And what I like to do, and we're gonna, let's pour up first, because I want to get to how we met, but that would probably be good for some wine. Yes. It's been a short minute, so we're gonna start with you, and we each bought some wine. We're gonna have both of them, but we're gonna start off with hers, and we're gonna get into a couple topics. So what do you have for us today? What's the wine we got?
All right, so I brought Cali Red. This is Snoop Dogg's wine, 19 Crimes. It's a red blend. It's 14.1% alcohol. It's actually interesting. He made this wine. It's like when you smell it, it has aromas of smoke.
Oh.
So I thought
Perfect.
That was pretty fitting for this.
Very fitting.
So it has aromas of a vanilla and smoke, but it's like a blackberry. Like when you pour it, it's like a dark berry color. So let's be able to see it.
Yes. And I know I told y'all, if y'all see me in any Jets apparel, I'm using a Jets wine glass today that you could slide me if you saw me in it. But this was gifted to me. Any Jets apparel that was gifted to me, not that anyone would know before they punch me in the face, but we're going to use it. Shout out my boy George, got me the Jets wine glass for my birthday. And we're going to, good toast.
Yes.
And first things first, I know there's a specific way to hold a wine glass.
Yeah, so you hold it by the stem.
I cup it. I usually cup it like that, thinking it's cute. But this is actually not the right way to hold the weed.
That is the improper way to do it. Because all it does is warm your wine and it kills the alcohol. So you're just drinking juice at that point.
I'm going to give this a taste. Now, this will classify as a dry.
Yes, very dry.
Okay. So while we enjoy that, and we'll get back to it, and we'll give it a whole review. This is a decent sized glass too. We're gonna be fucked up on here. Mm-hmm. And we do have pot too as well. We're using raw cones. Not sponsored yet, but we will be. And we're gonna light up. And one thing I want to address as well, the last episode, the lights and shit, I got way too excited before I address that. Not every guest that has to come on here and literally smoke down. Cause me and Moo, we got pretty fried on here. Not everyone has to do that. But we're going to enjoy some pot. We're going to enjoy some wine. And let's hope I'm not too crossfaded by the end. So, my good sis, where we met.
I'm trying to remember.
I'm telling everyone, this is the best. It's the best when you really can't remember, because that's the best relationships. Obviously, we know we met down at Rowan University.
Oh, I remember. It was Keisha's birthday, and y'all came and surprised her. Was it you? And...
Yeah. It was me. It was me, my boy Snacks, and my boy Darian. I remember that day. It was a snowy day. I can't. That was the night.
Oh, that's the night.
That was the night. Oh yeah, God, that was the night.
I wasn't there for that shenanigan. I left.
Yeah, that was the night actually the first. And if y'all want to go way back into the archives and look at one of the very first, if not the first episodes of the podcast that I did, where we talked about the first time I got arrested. This was actually that night that I did. Of course I don't remember. Of course I don't remember us meeting that night because I had a lot of other shit to worry about, of course. No, we came down there. I drove Nia's car down. It was a big old blizzard and everything. I remember that. And I'm trying to find a lighter so we can get started. I know there's one in my pocket somewhere. Wait, nope, we're good. We don't need the torch this time. I actually have a lighter. I'm going to get lit here. Again, raw cones. We're smoking some purple punch, allegedly. And yeah, we're going to get to it. I have to light that to that night. That was really that was a wild ass night. Was Travis there for that? Travis wasn't there for that.
I don't think so.
Nah, Travis wasn't there.
Nope. I know Travis. Early on. Miles, he came. When did you come? It was a football game. He sat on my bed.
That's usually where, from there.
From there.
It goes on.
It was all downhill. It's like that.
But yeah, we met at Rowan, and I used to go down to Rowan a lot. A decent amount because Miles went there, and as it went on, of course you there. We all had our little, I guess not a clique, but we would come down there and we would all party together and shit like that. So it was fun. And then once you and Travis start dating, as guys, you always want to kind of get closer to your guys' girlfriends. It happens naturally, and sometimes it's really fake. Like sometimes it's fake. Sometimes you don't even like her. And you just gotta call her sis and shit like that. But with you, is real.
Oh, so you started calling me mother.
Mother. You was my mother first.
And then I was his mother sis.
And mother sis. So you still my mother sis. Still my mother sis. Because at that point, I started calling you my mother. But now we kind of getting closer. And y'all getting closer even more. So it leaves me in a bind. But yeah, so you're a wine blogger. You started wine blogging. Take me through what got you into that when you discover wine, because I read on your website that you did start drinking around your senior year. So what inspired you to get into it? Just tell me all about it. Like, why do you love it?
I mean, I feel like I always drank it. Which one is it, y'all?
Out the or
drink,
both
drink. I always drank it.
You drink it, then you drunk it.
But I was drinking like cheap stuff, and then it was that time we went to the winery.
Yes.
And we were trying all those different types of wines. And I was like, oh, this is fun. So I wanted to get more into it. And then when we moved to Delaware, Travis had decided that he wanted to do real estate. And it was a point, I feel like everyone kind of goes through this in a relationship when you've been together for a long time. You kind of lose yourself and you don't know what you want to do. So you kind of tag on to what your partner's doing, especially when they're ambitious, right? Facts. So I felt like I wasn't doing enough, so I'm trying to do real estate with him, and then we were getting into arguments because he was kind of on some this is my thing, you need to find your own, and I'm damn nigga, I don't know what I want to do. And then so I was really really drunk one day. We was coming home from brunch and we was going over a bridge, and I don't know, I always say, I guess this was the Lord talking to me. He was like, you need to open up your own wine bar. And I started screaming. I was like, I don't know what to do.
That's what happens.
Travis was like, what?
That's one of those movie moments. It's the light just comes on in your head. And then ever since then. So the light comes on in your head.
Yeah. And I realized that doing a wine bar is dumb expensive. So I was like, well, I'll just start learning about wine and doing my wine blog to get acclimated with wine and everything about wine. So I'm doing that. I'm about to enroll into SOM school
Okay.
Like the little, everyone's like, you seen uncorked? Yeah, I seen uncorked.
So explain that.
Like,
Explain that. What is it called? A psalm school?
well, it's sommelier.
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 I'm thinking psalm like the
Nothing.
Bible.
Oh,
But
no.
so it's like a school specifically for wine, or
Yeah, so like it teaches you everything about wine, like how to make wine, how to identify the types of wine, like all that. So like you can be so basically once you graduated from that school, like I could go to a restaurant and be like their som, and like they pay like $80,000 for you to just pick their wine list.
fuck. Fuck, that's surprising to me because I never knew this existed, and
Mm-hmm.
that's dope. That's honestly dope. I didn't know that. This is your first time telling me that, so it's great that you're getting into that.
Yeah.
That you're furthering the process to get where you want, and a lot of people, and it's good that you said that. That you did want to open a wine bar, and then you did have to basically start somewhere, and you realizing how expensive it is, but
Yeah.
that's just more incentive to get where you want to be. And it's good that you started small so you learn the game. One thing about me specifically is like I'm very bad with like patience, and that's like one thing that I've gotten to learn about myself is that all the stuff that I want to happen, it may not happen until I'm like 30 or
Mm-hmm.
something, but it's about the little stuff along the way that gets you to where you're going. So you start your wine blog, and now you're into your school and stuff like that. So it's great because I relate to it myself. Like I know, like I said, we used to have Travis here. We did this like one time on like one mic that I have over there.
Yeah.
So now to be back, and he's talking about, he said it was like growth to have like a lights, to have a cameras, different angles and shit like that. This is something I all pretty much like thought of at a certain point. So to actually have it come alive, it feels good.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that that's the same thing going on with you as well feels amazing.
Yeah. I feel like that's like, especially like with you being in your young 20s, like you feel so much pressure to like have everything right then and there. And it's just like everything's going to come at its right timing. So like you just have to like be patient and like continue to work. Like some people like, oh, I just got to be patient, but don't continue to put the work in.
Yeah, don't put no work
So
in.
like I just feel like you just got to be patient, put the work in, and like everything will come. So that's what I'm doing. Like I do eventually with my own wine brand, like make my own wine, but like with COVID, like kind of fuck shit up because you know.
Yeah, it gives you time to redirect your focus. And it's really hard when you're really, again, like we're some ambitious people, we got some things
Mm-hmm.
going on. It's so hard to find the I don't want to say gray area, but the to be even keel enough to feel like you're doing enough, and then you're also resting at the same time. Because a lot of
Exactly.
people, they keep going, like they keep going and they keep going. But sometimes, like with me, for example, before we started the video, like I didn't podcast for like, I don't know, it could have been like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still thinking of stuff to do, but it's just like I want to sit down and do it, but like it just doesn't feel right. And eventually it
Yeah.
felt right, and then sometimes you just get back into it, and then you get your stride going, and then you're back on the road to where you be. So like you don't have to necessarily always go like 110%. Sometimes you really need
A
that like
break.
bullshit time
Yeah.
to like do whatever to, I don't know. It's kind of like you have the motivation, and then with me, sometimes it'll get a little bit lower,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what I'm dealing with. So it'll get lower. I was trying to work on other shit to supplement the time so I can do this. You got to figure out
Exactly.
things with like money and shit like that. That's one of the things we have to go through.
That's the biggest one.
The,
Like picking up second jobs so that you can fund your career, like that you really, really want to do. Because I tell you, every day I want to quit my job.
every single day, it's really not a day that goes by that I don't sit down and be like, I kind of want to quit this shit.
Especially
Or
now with all these unemployment frauds, I'm like, well, give me my 10,000. Like, I'll be
Yeah,
good.
no, and it's fucked up because like as much as like other people get mad at other people, it's just like these jobs. You really look at these jobs, and when you see what you can do for yourself, like why would I ever want to put money in another man's pocket, especially
Exactly.
when I know I'm getting got. You know what I mean? Like I work in an industry where I know how much money is coming in. Like I know what I'm making you. Like you should be able to be worth more to companies,
Exactly.
but it's not. And that's one thing the pandemic has truly exposed. So I try to use that more as like motivation because there was a day where I used to, y'all know me, I used to flip pizzas and shit like on Saturday nights to like midnight, and I used to hate that shit. I used to really hate it. Like I used to come home and sit in the car, and I used to just and I worked with great people. I love the job, but it's just like
Yeah.
I wanted more. Like eventually you want more. Anybody who's ambitious anyway wants more. Some people
Yeah.
get comfortable. But even at that point, I was sitting in the car and, I was just like, yo, I really don't like this shit. But eventually I'm not going to be doing it. And that's like two jobs ago that I was thinking about that. So now we're sitting here and, you just got to use it, all the negative shit, like, you just got to use it. You go there, you go to work, let that be your motivation to do something when you get off.
It just be annoying, especially when your manager say some bullshit like, "I fucking need y'all. Y'all need me." And it be like, "Nah, I really do need y'all because I got to pay my bills." But
No, absolutely. And I'm not even at that point yet, and I do want to get at that point very soon.
I'm at that point.
But no. I'm not talking about as far as job. I definitely want to quit my job. Never in my life do I want to. If I ever have the opportunity to not have to work for somebody, I will 100% take it. Like the first chance I know that I'm set and I know that I'm good, it's a wrap. Like I'm gone. Like I'm gonna give it a little bit of fluff, but once money starts coming in that you could live on, like I'm not looking at this like it's not no fucking motivation for me. I get more. I don't even have an out right now. You feel me? Like honestly, like I couldn't quit my job and feel okay about it.
Yeah.
But I still like don't work as hard as I should. Like that's now. So if you give me an out, you give me some type of motivation or I might not even think about it. There's certain shit you got to think about, of course. Like, let me get you too hyped up, You don't want to go sign, like, 360 deals, like, and shit, like some type of rapper. Travis felt that shit. You don't want to, go sign deals like that. But, you want to make calculated moves. And the second I can reap the rewards of the work that I put in, I'm fucking out of that. I'm fucking out of there. And I could even, that could just be another job or just another better opportunity. It doesn't necessarily have to be this.
Yeah.
But you can't really get God out here. Like the second you pass away, your job's gonna be up in like a week on like Indeed and some shit. Like yo, for real, like facts. Like if you're at a job and someone, God forbid, somebody passes away at your job, like niggas be upset for a little bit. They be like, damn, that shit hurt. But
somebody
then
died at our job.
Damn.
I think the job killed him though. For real.
Yeah.
They kept saying like he was having heart attacks on the floor.
Oh yeah, the stress.
Travis was in the training class, and they walked past him, and they was wheeling him out like to go to the ambulance, and one guy was like, "That's what the job does."
Facts. And I guarantee you, they were like, "Oh damn, that shit kind of sucks." He kind of passed out on the floor, but I get like 30 an hour later. They're like, "How the fuck are we gonna fill those hours?" They don't feel bad at all. Like they don't feel bad at all. So like once like
send some flowers to the fam and keep it pushing. Like that's it.
That's it. That's the bare minimum. And it's when you do your own thing and your own value, and like that's just what we got out of it. There's I'm not saying jobs are bad. Like I'm never gonna tell you a job is bad because some people really do find their passion in jobs. But
everyone's not like meant to be an entrepreneur.
No, and that's
like I work for you,
and that's okay. And most people think like because they got their own shit. You finish your wine very fast.
Oh yeah, this is.
I'm sorry.
This is a thing.
My bad. I'm usually, but yeah.
Take your time though. It hits kind of fast.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be fucked up on here. I was trying to chill. Like I said, I'm trying to chill. I'm not trying to get too baked. Like I said last time, I got super excited. Smoked up. We were like 20 minutes in. I'm fucking, these lights starting to get all blurry and shit. But now, no, we're gonna take it easy. But yeah, no, for sure. Like these jobs really don't appreciate you, and it makes you realize it more when you're doing your own thing and you see, like honestly. Paychecks feel great and you could buy nice things with them. But one of the best things that I've ever had gotten was someone be like, yo, I fuck with your shit. And this is some shit I just like made up. Like, I don't get any money from this yet. And I feel more like, I feel better about this than I do going to work and like putting money in other people's fucking pockets. It's trash. No, it really is. Oh, God, I got off topic. But
you said you weren't gonna go first.
I wasn't. Yo, when you get people on here and you get people you fuck with, like I told you before the show started, like I got all this stuff like that I write down before, and I hope that I get to. But really, it just starts with a conversation and it just flows. And when the people you fuck with, like it's very easy. Like I'm never gonna invite someone on here that I don't fucking like. What am I gonna do? Like sit there and like stare at them, like, and that's cool. But no, I get excited when I do this shit. You see, like I don't ever sit at my desk over there and just like fucking like Jerry, like let's get the fucking work today. No, ever. And I fuck with I work with some cool people at my job, but it's just nah. But we value ourselves, and so So that's really your plan. So you're gonna do your school, and then once you're done with your schooling, do you want to get into that type of business, or well, obviously you do, but like, are you more so learning more, or do you want to get straight into the
So I'm
like
more
the wine
so
business
learning more, but I want to get straight into the
all the time?
making my own brand first, like my brand of wine. So I've been in contact with like a couple wineries. Cause okay, so there's this thing is called Custom Crush. So instead of me like having to buy like my own blend and my own grapes and stuff and doing it by myself, wineries will like they'll charge you like I'll make your wine for you basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I was gonna do it in PA, but I'm like, who the fuck drinks wine from PA? Like I've
Because
never.
that matters, right?
Yes.
So you can't. So all right. So like making shit in Jersey is like not like hot, I guess. Like depending on like where it is. So like you're saying
Yeah.
PA, like nobody wants some fire wine from like fucking Pennsylvania.
It's not even like the fact that it's fire wine. It's just like it depends on like the grapes, like the atmosphere the grapes grow in. Like California just has a better atmosphere, but it's kind of getting worse because of the weed out there. That's another thing.
Is
Y'all
it
killing
killing the
our
wine?
grapes.
Game? Oh, they're killing the grapes.
Yeah, so it's this like pesticide that they spray
Oh,
on wine, and I mean not on wine, on
weed.
weed, and the wind is blowing it on the grapes and killing the grapes. So like people are like losing millions of dollars.
Damn, why are they growing pot and grapes so close to each other? Well, the
It's
wind can
like
just pick
literally
up.
right next to each other.
That. Damn, I'm sorry. I didn't. I thought wine and weed went together great.
I think it does too.
But oh no, that's very unfortunate though. It's a lot of things wrong with the weed industry out there anyway. You would think just because it's legal, they got these like systems that just like work, but like no, people do illegal type of grows and all that stuff. So and it's in fuck, I don't know how to say it. It's not like it's profitable, but they're at a point now where they're growing like pretty much too much weed. You know, and that's how we get our shit over here. Like they grow too much, and there's people that have legal grows. There's places that just grow extra illegally, and they take that and whatever extra they have, they ship that shit up and send it over. You know, send it right on over here. And there's a lot of people. I just saw this meme. I sent it to Travis like a week ago. A dude went over, and what people do, they'll go over and they'll try to meet people out there, and then they'll come back and try to have them ship stuff over. So I guess a dude went out there and he paid someone like $22K or something for like I guess like weed or something to
Oh,
ship
you
back
showed me it
over.
was like a trash can.
It was like a
full of,
trash can full of like cotton balls or like some shit. Came back over and then he's like, first off, he's like TikToking it or Snapchatting it, like just letting everyone know about this L. But it's stupid, and it just goes to show that's what people do out there.
Yeah.
They just they send that shit back. So I'm very sorry to hear about the industry. I'm on my behalf. Let me apologize. That's happening. So they'll make your wine for you, like.
Yeah, so they'll make your wine for you. So like you have to go out there and like basically you tell them like how you want your wine to taste. Like if you want it to be like more of like a black grape or more like a citrusy. Like you can customize the wine basically, and they'll make it for you. And you go out there and check on it basically and do like taste tests. They'll bottle it, they'll label it for you, and then they'll ship it to you, and then you distribute it.
Shit. That's what's up. You're doing a lot of. You're gonna get this shit done. I want to let you know that because you already got your plan figured out. And I'm sorry. I'm looking for the lighter that I just had. That's in my lap. Yeah. So that's what's up. And I love everything you're doing. You got your wine Wednesdays and things like that because a lot of people really just they go to the regular shit.
Yeah.
Like they buy your, like I said, they buy your Shutter Homes, Barefoot.
Carlo Rossi. I was a Carlo Rossi.
I'm a Rossi head though, but yes, it is basic. Rossi is basic, but
I
Rossi.
used to legit drink the whole gallon by myself.
Yo, facts, real shit. There was one night. Nah, we finished. In fact, me and Nikel one night finished the gallon of that shit. I drank most of it, but dead ass, like I was on some like we finished that shit, bro. Like hourly, I was like throwing up and shit, bro. Wine is lit. Wine is lit, bro. Wine is lit because, for one, it doesn't feel as heavy as, like, you're taking, like, shots of, like, Henny and stuff like that. Like, as I got older now, I realized not only am I, like, more of a smoker, but if I do want to drink, like, I'd rather
drink wine
casually.
Me and my friends, we went to go see my friend, and, Yoel. We went to go visit him. and he brought some Casamigos tequila.
Mm.
We had finished a bottle and a half. The next morning, I was throwing up everywhere. I was like, I should have just drunk wine. Like, I can't drink hard liquor.
No,
Like, I can't.
it just, the recovery now is just far too much. Like, it used to be like there was really no recovery. Like, you could, when we was younger, you could wake up, you could pop right up the next day and be straight. Like, we used to, in high school, I know people that used to drink and then wake up the next day, play whole football games. But now it just feels like almost like death. Like, I feel like I'm
like
dying.
The sun hurts. Like, I just want it to be dark. I don't want to see nobody. Travis be like, let's go get something to eat. I can't eat.
You can't eat?
Like, that first meal, you just feel like you gotta throw up all over again.
And I used to like, pot used to help a lot. Like, weed used to help a lot. And it's even now, like, I can smoke now and it just doesn't do anything. I just feel even more sick. It just feels like an endless level of sick.
Yeah, I found the perfect balance now. Like, if I drink a half a bottle of wine and smoke an L, I'm good.
Okay, so
right to sleep.
That's what's, and listen, you add a bubble bath to that night,
I might fall asleep.
It's over. It's over. It's over. So when did you start like smoking weed, and you're not like a everyday smoker, but what's your gigs with that? Like, how do you feel about it? Like,
I smoke like every other day. Yeah. I don't smoke every day. I mean, sometimes I want to, but not all the time.
Yeah.
I don't like smoking by myself. Like, Travis smokes sometimes, but like once he smokes, he be knocked out. So
that like, boy Travis.
Like, or he don't like. I'm the talker. Like, when I smoke, I like to talk. Like, he be looking at me like I'm annoyed. Like, one time he told me to shut up, and I was just like,
I didn't say shut up.
Wow. I feel him though. Not shut up. I don't say.
I'm a thinker. Like, I started thinking about random shit. Like, yo, like, what if this, and this? And he's like,
It does always seem that your girl sometimes wants to do the most after you just smoke. It's like they just don't understand. Like,
bro, I'm in a stuff.
I'll sit here like she'll want like a back rub, a foot rub my feet, rub my back, and I love it. Like, I love to do those type of things. But like, she'll wait till the blunt is like just like burning 1 second, and then it's not, and it's like rub my feet. I was like, oh my, let me fizzle into it first. But yeah, Travis is a king. Travis is used to smoking by himself because he used to stretch like dime bags like 3 months.
what?
Swear to God, he was stretched like dime bags like 3 months. Like, people like, bro, he did. Some people you don't like. Some people you need an ounce for a month. Some people can stretch that dime bag a little bit. But
we've been stretching ours pretty, because like our boy back in Delaware, like, he just be giving us free food, like weed, because I be cooking, so he come over and get a plate, and he be like, "Here y'all go." We be like, "Thank you."
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Like, isn't it a beautiful thing? And yeah, it's literally like a glass of wine. Like, really, like, for real. Like, some people can have a glass of wine before bed. Like, I like to smoke a blunt before bed.
Yeah.
I like to do both.
So do you prefer rolling paper?
So it depends. So now I've been shifting more towards it, because after you go a while and you smoking a lot of blunts and shit, you start like coughing and shit, and it's just like kind of it's enjoyable, but I'm coughing all the time. Like, I'm getting on her nerves. I'm sitting here choking and shit like that. Like, I do like blunts in a social setting, but like when you're chilling by yourself or smoking with one other person, like, papers are the shit. A lot of people get deterred by them because they feel like they can't roll them. Like, a lot of people feel like you can roll a blunt easier than you can roll papers, but in reality, if you can roll one thing, like, you can roll anything. But just for health purposes, like the tobacco and shit, it's not really good, of course. So it has its pros and its cons, but for the most part, I am a blunt guy. I used to be a glass guy. Like, I used to smoke a lot of bowls.
I saw you posted some article like it's bad for you.
I don't know. Smoking glass or
it's like the bong.
The bong. Yeah, they're probably just fucking talking. I probably just said that. But that's really no. They were definitely probably just talking, because I think I know what you're talking about. I was just like, no, that's not true. Like smoking, putting anything into your lungs in general, whether it be a cigarette, whether it be weed, whether it be a black and mild, a cigar, Cuban, whatever. Putting smoke into your lungs really isn't the best for them anyway.
Yeah.
But as far as like smoking glass, it's the best for you because one, it's glass. You're not getting any toxins from anything like that. You're getting straight smoke, and you're hitting weed through glass. It's the simplest thing. Like, it's not going to do tobacco or anything like that. You can hit me off with another glass of that. We're gonna have 2 glasses just to be sure. Before we get into our next topic, we'll review it, of course. Thank you. But yeah, now I used to be, like I said, I used to be a glass guy, and then I got into a relationship, and then you're not smoking by yourself all the time, so you're rolling blunts and shit like that. So
yeah, we just rolled like recently with backwoods.
Who rolls it? You or Travis?
Travis.
No.
You be rolling them little pearlies.
But you don't send no Travis fake. He don't send no pics and nothing. Travis smoking backwoods.
That was the first time I ever did it.
Bruh,
Them shits is harsh as hell.
It's so harsh.
The next day.
Nah, I can't. Them shit's way too harsh. For me personally, they do have a good aroma to them, and they're wild expensive. Wild expensive backwoods are. I was in the liquor store like a week ago maybe, and someone was here I was gonna smoke with. My cousin was here. We was gonna smoke, and he was like, give me a wrap, and I'm just like, all right. But I get into the liquor store, and they try to pull that bull where they're like, oh, you need to spend so much money, right, before I could use the card. I didn't have cash on me, so I'm like, all right, I'll buy some backwoods, and I was just gonna buy some dollar games or Dutches for myself. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, all right, I'm going to spend a couple dollars. I figured that'd be $8. I was like, yo, give me the big pack of backwoods. I get it for him, the little 5-pack. He rings that shit up. This shit come up to like $10.50 or some shit. I said, God damn. I was like, how much is the backwoods? He was like, damn near like $8. I'm like, yo, niggas is paying that to smoke. They're harsh, and a lot of them complain because they never come out the right way, so they don't even end up using them.
It's this lady that live above us, and she be outside all night, coughing her lungs up, like, all day, all night. And we just be laying there, like, stop fucking smoking.
Stop.
And she looks so mean. Like, she just be out there coughing.
Would she smoke, like, cigarettes?
I don't know what she smoked. She smoked anything. The lady that was, out there when y'all came, she was like, are y'all smoking marijuana?
Oh, absolutely.
No, that's not her.
That's not her?
It's the old lady that be coughing. Y'all met the little young lady. She's probably
Yeah.
Weed is a great
There's
thing.
a scandal going on in our apartment complex. She back with her ex-husband. On the
Ooh, shit. I can't wait to have those type of experiences. Oh, word? Oh, you could, speak out, brother. Speak out. But yeah, and Trav, hand me that one.
Anybody want some?
Anybody want some wine? All right, back from a short intermission. One more question I want to ask before we get off of this topic. So the wine, right? We got our dries, we got our sweets, right? And you was talking about how we got different type of grapes, black grapes, sour grapes. That's the ones I see in like the stores and shit like that. Red grapes. So like, what's the difference, and how does it come out dry versus how it comes out sweet? Because my preference is sweet.
I mean, it depends on like it's like different mixtures that you apply to your wine that can make them dry or sweet, and it depends on how long you age your wines. So like the longer you age your wines, the drier it's gonna be.
And that's why they keep the date on like all the bottles, right?
Yeah.
Word.
You always want to get the longer date.
So get the older one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bet. See, I never knew that before. So before we get into our next topic, I see you finish your glass of wine again.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna review the Snoop Dogg wine. Let me see this bottle.
Oh, it's lit. If you download,
we all
it's
have
like
some.
an app. If you download it and you put if you put the camera on his face, he starts talking. It's really cool.
You know what? That's fire. I'm gonna do that when we get off of here. No, this is amazing. And so now I guess I'll say what I think about it, and then you tell me from a professional.
I'm not a professional.
Oh, and she got me, guys. Oh my, we'll get B-roll of this later, but she got me this cute, and nah, it's not cute. I'm not gonna describe it. I'm not gonna. I'm definitely not. I'm not gonna describe that as cute, but this very fight the power wine. This is a wine. This is a wine stopper, right?
Yeah.
And this is lit. Let's see if I can get up off of here. Now, we're going to get B-roll of this later, but this is just the most fire thing. And this will most definitely be used and much appreciated. Shout out to all y'all. You know, y'all bringing me stuff. Moo brought me sea moss. She brought me a little bottle stopper. It was shout out to y'all. I'm going to start giving y'all presents when y'all come on here.
Your presence is a present.
Hey, shit. You got that on video? Or where you going? Hey. Okay. All right. Yeah, no, so bet. All right, so I'll give my little review on it, and I asked her a couple of things while we took our intermission about how I should review. And as far as the smell, I did get an aroma on it. I'm going to get another one on camera. And she talked about, Carrie, you talked about how I had a smoky type feel for it. And did you explain, you explained this on the podcast, what it was. Was that off air or on air where you explained the smoky, how it had a smoky aroma to it?
I think it was on air.
It was on air? All right. We're at that point in the podcast, people. So yeah, no, so the smoky aroma to it, it does have a very, I've never judged wine like this. This is a very great, and when I did the sea moss last episode, we had a little tasting thing there. I think every episode we should do some type of, I'm reviewing something.
Plain. What does it taste like?
I haven't either. I had it in tea.
It is?
And into
I put it in my coffee.
Paul takes spoonfuls of it. But no, it's really good. It's fire. I don't really taste it. Like I said, it was fucking amazing. So the wine is great as well. There is a smell to it, and I don't know if it's on purpose. And I don't know if you if you didn't tell me this was Snoop Dogg, you didn't tell me there was like a smell like specifically to it, and me knowing who Snoop Dogg is, I would say that this makes me want to smoke a little bit.
I think that's the point.
And he did it. He did it. I don't know how he did it, but I'm gonna light this again.
He did.
Because I had some wine in it. Oh, shit. I gotta stop hitting my head on the mic, too. But no, as far as taste goes, I'm usually not a dry person, and we talked about this as well. I'm not a dry wine guy. I usually like the sweet stuff, but this feels like, for a dry, like, it doesn't give me the dry vibes, like, whatsoever. If you didn't tell me any better, like I wouldn't assume that it's a dry one. I would probably think it's more on the sweeter side, because the thing that I don't like about dry wines is some of them can, I don't know if this is the best way to describe it, because, you know, I'm talking to a professional. The bitterness of the wine, the dry wines is something that I'm not, you know, it steers me from it. But this is really good. It's not like sweet as like candy sweet, but yeah. It's perfect, and it's right in between the lines. Like, I would recommend this for anyone who doesn't like dry like that. I would get this myself, and I plan on it.
Yeah, I feel like you should always, like, if you've never drank red dry wines, I feel like you should always start with a red blend, because red blends are typically sweeter than like a Cabernet or like a Merlot. Those are like really
my God. Dry. There was one night, let's tell a funny story while we're on this. There was one night we were down here drinking, and Neil remember this. There was one night we were down here drinking. I think Travis may have been here, but we ran out of liquor. And we had to go upstairs and look at the top of the fridge where all the old bottles sit. And there was like some Merlot. And I was like, fuck it, let's try it. And it had to be at least, so old. Yeah, so Travis, it was disgusting. I hated it.
Yeah, Merlot is dry.
It's super dry. Like, you could taste the dust. You could, like, it's like almost like it was old. Like, you could taste the dust on it. Like, it was like very, it wasn't great at all. But that's really what deterred me from it. But if you sat this in front of anyone, and specifically me, like I said, I wouldn't assume that this was a dry wine at all.
Yeah.
And it's very good. Smells, taste. Let's talk about the strength, right? Mm-hmm. So we just took a little intermission, and I went outside, I had to use the bathroom and stuff, like, you know, regular stuff. And I realized, I'm like, damn, I'm pretty, you know, I feel this shit a little bit, you know, like, I know I'm sitting here smoking too, but like, damn. And it's strong. You said 14. 14.1. So it does get you lit. And this is the thing. And I'm glad I led myself into this direction. sometimes you want to get the shutter home and you want to get the, what is it? Fucking Carlo Rossi and shit. Because you get a shit ton of it. Like, you get the gallon, you get the big shit for like $13.99. Like,
so you gotta drink the whole shit to be like.
But you gotta drink the whole shit to be drunk. This, we've had like, I had a glass and a half and I'm feeling wavy already. So this is, you know what, this is just starting to feel like the finer things. Like, we're sitting here, we're drinking wine, we're smoking weed. This is the Finer Things Club, I think, at this point. And I'll probably name the episode after that, the Finer Things Club. But that's an Office reference for people who don't know.
I remember.
You remember that? You remember that, bro? That's an Office reference. Yeah, we got our own Finer Things Club over here. So before we get into our next topic, now that we review that one, I'm gonna introduce mine. And this is, like I said, this is me and the wife's fave. We got some Riscato, and I was supposed to do some research, but I didn't, so I'm gonna read it off the back of the bottle. Riscato, Northern Italy. It has a touch of sweetness that underlies the appeal of the charming wine, and that's in the middle of the paragraph, so it says a lot more. But yeah, from Northern Italy, 7%.
Okay.
7% compared to your 14. Oh my God, that's a lot. Because I thought
Sweeter
this.
wines are typically like low in alcohol.
Because okay, that's nice to know. I should take notes. So this is it's Italia, Riscato, Rosso Dulce. They gonna kill me on video. This is one of those things you was talking about where it was like, yo, anything can go viral. So we got the Riscato here. We're gonna pour it, and yes, water. Mm-hmm.
I just want to clean my glass.
Need glasses?
No.
I'm such a we're gonna keep this in because I'm such a rookie. Why did I not clean my glass first? What the hell? What the hell's wrong with me?
Why not? Thank you.
What? All good. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Chomp.
Okay,
I'm just
for
kidding.
sure.
That's how I call him when he does stuff for me.
Yo, I'm really doing this with a professional because I was just about to pour it in the wine glass. Keep it a buck. Shake that around. Would you do pour it back out?
Don't drink it.
I was about to.
Hell, Dougie.
Like I said, we at that point in the podcast, the Riscato, and I think I said this already, but yeah, 7.1 to your 14.1, and it's insane because I thought that got me way saucier. So now that I understand what we're doing here, this is gonna be a wild one by the end, people.
Feels it.
Oh yeah, no, this is perfect. Oh my God, I wrote this one out so well. Oh my gosh, I wrote this one out so well because what we're about to get into. Me and you, we have the best conversations about like this type of stuff.
Oh Lord.
This type of stuff, like we go back and forth. Like when we was in Cali, you remember we was going back and forth. Me, you, Travis, we was in the driveway going back and forth about things like this. But from what Travis don't remember. Travis probably don't. But I'm starting to look at these type of things from a different way. You know, I've started to look at things from a different point of view, and I try to understand things that people say before I try to address everything. Mm-hmm. Like, perfect example, back in the day, I'd see a lot of things on Twitter that I would immediately want to address, right? So I would immediately address it, and I feel like that was very ignorant of me, but now I want to really sit down and really think about what's going on. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. So, in the recent weeks, while we enjoy this Riscato, I think it was a couple days ago, and I was trying to figure out what we could also talk about on this podcast that could be a little not, it's conversational, but it could be whatever. Conflict, whatever. It could be a conflict, and it's a man and woman talk. And this is one of the things I wanted to roll off of you because I'm looking at this differently, and a lot of people are up in arms about what Saweeties said on Instagram the other day. Damn, I feel like so gossipy when I said that.
The shade room.
The shade room. Like, a lot of people are upset, and basically what she said was, word for word, pretty much, she said if a man can't buy you a Birken bag and pay your bills, you got to toss him back to the streets. You got to toss him back to the streets. I'm gonna say this one more time for Travis. If a man can get you a Birken bag, I'll give everyone 3 seconds. If you don't know what a Birken is, just Google it. Just type in Birken, and I'm sure a bag will pop up with a price. And I was gonna say that sounds broke to me, but when you look up the bag, you'll see. But anyway, she said,
$9,000.
"Oh, the one I saw today was
higher.
They start at 30.
I saw one at like 19.5K or something
It's
like
probably
that.
used.
Ridiculous. But yeah, rich people buy that shit. And we're going to talk about all that as we get onto it, because it's not only just Saweetie, it's all these other celebrities in relationships buying each other, $500,000, $500,000 cars, and doing all these other things. And what I really wanted to talk about is, are our relationship dynamics starting to change as far as like dating and what we expect from our partners? We're in relationships. We've been out the game for a little bit. So, because I feel what I'm in, it happened way more naturally than like any type of Birkin bag or like buying anything. So initially, before we really get into it, and I got a list of things, because it's not really a side to this, it's really what she's trying to say. And it's really trying to dig deeper into what she really means and what I hope she means. So first, off top, like, what do you really think about that statement? Like, if he can't buy you a Birkin bag or pay your bills, you got to throw him back to the streets. Do you think that someone should be thrown back to the streets if they can't buy you a Birkin bag or pay your bills?
So my thing is like, okay, so this is just my opinion, but I feel like
No judgments on here.
Saweetie, however you say her name.
Saweetie.
She can say that because like I feel like she can afford to buy her own Birkin bag or pay her own bills. But I feel like these like women out here that I'm seeing like in the comments are like, oh yes, yes, yes. But I'm just like, sis, like you're probably living in like Section 8 housing. Like you want a nigga to sweep you off your feet and give you all of that, but what are you bringing to the table?
Exactly.
So I just feel like that may be like her standard because like you can afford it, but like I just feel like women need to, well,
let's all just slow our rolls.
Exactly.
Let's just everyone needs to just
maybe her Birkin is your Louis.
Or you Telfar. Like, you feel like come on.
And that's just it. It's
come
okay.
on.
Let's not all jump to the Birkin.
Absolutely, and it's just getting to the point where
you may lose a great guy because he can't buy you a Birkin.
Because he can't buy you a Birkin, and that just doesn't mean he can get it. He can't get you the Birkin now.
Exactly.
The problem with the statement is that it's not about if he can get you a Birkin or not. Because the point is, in my opinion, is that you should be able to find someone that makes you happy first. Mm-hmm. Like, let's have those type of standards first.
He can get you a Birkin, but
he can get you a Birkin. You can get a Birkin and be a fucking asshole.
The shit out you, like,
and you getting smacked up and down,
like,
but you got a Birkin. Or you could still find someone that makes you happy, and then you could still get a Birkin out of it.
Exactly.
But I feel like the problem when we start to look at these celebrity relationships and what they're doing for each other and what they're starting to say on social media is starting to get a lot of us, I don't want to say regular like middle class people, but a lot of us that aren't living that type of lifestyle, they start to get that in their heads. Mm-hmm. Like, and now you see a lot of people that are, our age, they get that idea like, yo, if you're not like paying bills, or if you're not simple as paying bills, that's something I guess that's on our level a little bit. Like, if you're not paying my bills or anything, like, what are you really doing? And I just feel like that is the absolute like worst way to go into something and look at it, because you can have monetary support and all that, but what the relationships really come down to is emotional type of shit. And if you don't have that, the relationship is shit whether you have a Birkin or not. Like I said, like you just said, like you could be smacking somebody up and down the bathroom floor, but as long as they have a Birkin in the closet, you know what I mean?
Because I mean, like that's their excuse. Like, I'm paying your bills. Like, I'm doing everything for you. Like, I can do whatever I want. Like, you're mine. Like, I feel like when you subject yourself to like property things, you become somebody's property. Like,
exactly.
Oh, he's doing all this for me. Like, he's cheating on me, but I mean, like, he's getting me Birkin, he's paying my bills. Like, this is what he does. Like,
and that's what we see. Like, start to see perfect examples like Cardi and Offset, and then like she posted a pic. I don't know if those were Birkins in that pic that she posted. It was like a wall of bags.
Yeah, but like,
but Offset was under. It was like, I'm responsible for half of those.
Yeah, half. But I feel like you have to think about it. Me and Travis just talking about this. Like, a lot of celebrities get gifted things.
Absolutely.
So like all them Birkins in her closet, those could be gifts from Birkin, sending them to her because they're like, oh, you like Birkin? Well, she's Cardi B. If they see Cardi B with all these Birkins, then I mean they gonna want Birkins. Absolutely. Or like, I'm pretty sure Ari did not buy Moneybag Yago's car. I'm sorry. Like, I don't think she could afford it. That's just me. I think it was a gift.
Yeah, no, yes, absolutely. Probably even so. And it's just like people eat that shit up. Like, like people sometimes, people are starting to expect cars and shit from people now. Like, like, bro, like it's ridiculous. And it's just, and I just, like, we ourselves, we're in a generation now where we're so consumer driven. Like, it's about like what we have on, what we drive, all those type of shit. Like, it's almost like you're determining status by like what you wear and like what you have. So it's like us as a culture, I feel like we're starting to put those values onto relationships as well. Too early, by the way, like way too early. Like it's very important that someone has enough money to support you. So you should have monetary standards, absolutely. Especially at the age now, you know, people trying to live, you know, get apartments, move out. Like, if you really don't have it, you know, that, you know, people are right for having monetary standards. What she's saying is realistic monetary standards. And when we dig deep about what she's really saying, we'll do that in a bit, because I really think men did it to themselves in a certain type of way. Like, I was talking to Nikella this morning, and this news flash, just like the light came on in my head, and I'm like, what do niggas like to do? Right? What do niggas like to do?
Yeah, I mean.
No, yeah, I'm at yeah. What do niggas like to do?
In terms of what,
like, what's the best way to? What do men feel like the best way is to get a woman? I'll say it for you. They think flexing is the best way. The best way. No, there's plenty of ways. Niggas are stupid. Plenty of stupid ways men think the best way is to get women. But men do a lot of flexing. A lot of flexing as far as like money and like what they have on. And they think that type of, and realistically, now that I'm starting to think about it, this all really groups into a certain type of people. Because like all men do is really flex. And you know who sucks that shit up? Like, these certain women suck that shit up. And they're like, oh, you got money, you got a car and shit like that. And that just drives this whole narrative now of like, what can you really do to me? And I'm just like, okay, so men kind of did this shit kind of to themselves. Like, if you're flexing all this bread to really attract a woman, what type of woman do you really think you're about to attract? Exactly. If someone's looking at you for your bread. And I was watching, there was an episode of the Steve Harvey show on this morning, like literally this morning. When I woke up this morning, yeah, it was on BET, but it was on BET Her, H-E-R. I don't know why they got the, you know, weird shit BET, but it was on, and there was one scene in that show this morning, today. We scheduled this podcast before, and this came on this morning, so I'm just, weird shit happens like that. Where Romeo Santana, rest in peace, is in the hallway, and he's walking up to this girl, like, and they're in like high school and shit, and this is some shit filmed way back in the like 90s or some shit. So like he's walking up and he's like, you know, like, hey, brown sugar, you know, shit like that. And he was like, you look good enough for me to buy you like a Louis bag or like a Fendi bag. I'm just like, shit, like, this is what we're talking about today, and this is something that came on back in the 90s. So, like, I really start to feel like, men, this whole shit, like, men kind of did it to themselves. Because, you know, men start with flexing. Then you got the city girls, all respect to JT and Young Miami. You know, they got their whole thing going on. And it just feels like all this is just building up. And we just have a new dynamic of relationships now. Something that's really unrealistic for people. Not like people like us, but like something unrealistic. Unrealistic for people like us. I'm pour a little bit more of this.
I feel like they're like trying to put on a front for Instagram, because like people are realizing how much money you can make on Instagram and YouTube, and like I feel like like Queen Naja and what's her ex name? Was it Clarence? Is that her name? Chris.
Yo, you know what Nia's good for in this podcast? Nia should be like the fact checker. She's like fact checking everything, like as we're going through it.
I
Cause
feel like Queen Naja and her ex Chris like started that like whole YouTube like trying to show off type thing. I don't know. I feel like it's corny, but to each his own.
it's just like not. It is so like I feel like relationships are hard to come past now in general. Like it is
genuine relationships.
genuine relationships. Like shit is so impossible now. Like I don't know how they used to date back in the fucking. Well, I'm not gonna say like the 40s and shit because there was other shit going on in the 40s where dating wasn't important. But like back in the 80s and shit like that, like I do not know how they used to date. It, there's so many married couples that came out of that shit. Like we look at our grandparents and shit like that. But like now, like it could not have been the same. And it's just like the social media kills it. The fucking what celebrities are saying kills it. Like and just overall
Social
people
media kills a lot of shit.
A lot of shit. Like and a lot of older people. And a lot of older people had other, it is a negative to not having social media. That's when people used to have like families around the corner and shit and people wouldn't know. So that's like a downside to social media. But now like this is just fueling this like, I don't know. Like it's like men have their own set of unrealistic standards and now it just feels like some woman can have like these completely unrealistic standards. So now you just got this whole playing field of people just sitting around and like bullshitting. So it's a weird game, and Saweetie saying that definitely did not help at all. But it's like, so let's talk about how there's a deeper meaning to this, right? Like there's a deeper meaning to this before you get to the Birkin bags and paying for your bills. Basically, she's saying if someone can't do something for you, toss them to the curb. Now, instead of it being like monetary things like Birkin bags and paying your bills, it should be simple things, just like happiness and shit like that. And it's just like, we're just not on that shit anymore. People just don't look for that. I don't know. Like, it's just very puzzling to me. And she like kind of sent me over the edge. And it just, I don't know. I just don't understand it at all.
I feel like a lot of women that think like that, they probably think like that because of some type of void that they're dealing with that they haven't going to counseling for, because counseling is a legit thing that I feel like everyone should go through. Because people, like for example, like let's say your dad wasn't in your life, like, and you saw your mom struggle, so now you feel like you need a man that you know is not going to leave you and take care of you and buy you all the things because you saw your mom struggle. So I feel like there's a lot of like internal issues with people that do think like that, or they saw their mom with their dad. He gave her everything, so she thinks that's what she's supposed to get.
That could be a good thing. Well, I guess that the one last aspect is probably a good thing. Like, that's something you could look for, is someone that gives them everything, for sure. But men aren't safe neither. Like, a lot of men grow up in households where they don't have a father, and I talked about this on the last podcast. A lot of men cannot replicate what they haven't seen before.
Yeah.
So they grow up in these households without their fathers. They may have a mom that, I don't want to say it, but, has men running in and out the house and shit like that. So they don't even have any idea of, like, what real shit is. So it just feels like, and maybe the last generation was the same, I guess, but, like, I just see it more because we're growing up in it. And a lot of people don't know, I guess, like, what real love is or whatever. And they start trying to, and this is the problem with all this shit, they start trying to look for what they see in these celebrity relationships in men that just simply can't provide that.
Like, a lot of people glorify these celebrity relationships. It's so disgusting.
This shit is crazy. It's like once these Twitter couples hit like the Twitter couples become like goals or whatever, like fucking who's the last one? You could say like Cardi and Offset. You can say fucking YG and Kehlani was a fucking great example of this. How a couple can go from goals
like crazy over his ass
to not together.
Made a whole album.
And just
she was fire, but
bruh. And it's like, yo, the second they start glorifying these fucking celebrity couples, it's almost like the Madden curse. And the Madden curse is when like an athlete will win the cover, but the very next year just do very bad, like get hurt, whatever. It's like the second these Twitter couples become goals, they're going just like that. And it's just like, yo, you people don't see this shit. Like, these people are just together. Like, all this goal shit. Like, yo, they was on stage hugging up and shit like that, bro. They're sitting here, people sitting here eating that shit up. And next thing you know, they're not even together. Nigga was like cheating or something. Like, come on.
He was cheating?
I guess. I don't know. That's what I heard.
Dougie with the T. Come on.
I don't want to be the, the shade room over here, but that's just what I heard. And, I don't know shit. I'm just doing a podcast in the basement. That's just what I heard. But, it's pretty ridiculous. What people are subjecting themselves to in relationships and like what they look for now. It's
like people like really be investing themselves in like their relationships to the point where it's just like, what was it? Somebody had a baby and like they haven't posted the baby. Oh, Milano had a baby. She hasn't posted the baby yet, and people are like in her comments every single day. Like, when you gonna post the baby, sis? When you gonna post the baby?
The weirdest
and I'm
shit.
like, why do y'all care to see this child? Like, if she don't want to show her baby's face, she don't got to.
Bro, like, it's like Black Mirror was on to like so many things when they do these episodes. Like,
yo, I love that show.
It's like Black Mirror is like you look at this shit and you're like, yo, like. A lot of shows you watch, it's like, yo, it's like someone who wrote this got to be like fucked up in the head. But like whoever writes Black Mirror is like spot on every single time.
Spot on. Every single time.
So before we get to the end of it, before I let you go and plug all your socials, the Riscato, just hit the table hard as fuck. The Riscato. So how are we feeling about it? I give you a review on it. What do you think?
It's bubbly.
Yes. It's very bubbly. You can like almost feel it in your stomach. Wow. You didn't pause that one?
Oh, in your
you can almost feel it in your stomach.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely.
That's what she said. Yeah, hopefully no one finds that like disrespectful or anything. We totally support all that. We just watch The Office. And that's just funny as hell.
Yo, it was the clip. Travis showed me a clip. It was like from The Office, and it was, what was his name? Daryl. Remember when they was on the boat?
Yes.
Yes.
And he was drinking, and he called Angela a bitch.
So it was.
She said, "Shut up." No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Like, what you say, bitch?
That was a deleted scene, but I did see that shit. No, that show is literally like hands down the best show like ever.
Yeah, I've watched the season like 3 times because of Travis. I've never watched it until I started dating him. He was like, "You never seen The Office?" Trying
to get Nakel on it, she won't budge. She'll get there eventually though.
You gotta budge.
Once you get there, it's literally the best show ever. So
I would be crying laughing.
I'm about to start watching Grey's Anatomy. I haven't watched it.
That I do.
I'm on season 12.
That
Just
I
crazy.
do. It's so lit.
I just feel there's a lot of crying. Like, I just don't have time.
You will cry.
Yeah, in the beginning it's more so.
God,
it's sadder in the beginning, and it's also more funny in the beginning.
Mm.
And then,
okay, from my perspective, Grey's Anatomy, it's not all that. It's not all that. Especially if you watch Grey's Anatomy, you would never want your girlfriend to work in a hospital. Ever. Ever. Because all that shows is that all of them be in there doing all that shit. No.
But you gotta, she would never.
Oh, yeah, no, of course. Absolutely. I don't feel that way at all about that, but it's just like, god damn, there is no way that shit is real. Niggas is in that, but it could be though, because they always be there. They always be there. So I get it. But before we get off on a tangent, we're gonna get on out of here. So Riscato, 1 to 10, what do you think?
I give it like a 4.
Okay, all right. My palate isn't as strong as hers towards wine, so I respect it. And why do you give it a 4 though? Like, what about it? Because I would give yours a 10, and I feel like I got put on because that is very good. I almost like that one better than that.
I just give it a 4 because like I don't like bubbly stuff, and this is kind of like a weak champagne to me. Kind of reminds me of what is it?
Basically, we gotta step our shit up over here.
No, this is good. It's like good tasting wise. I just don't like the bubbles.
But that's good. But that is great.
Yeah, this is good.
That is great, and we're definitely gonna be. Does he have more? That's the red.
Yeah,
sure
that's the Cali Red. That's like a red blend. Then he has like rosé. He has a champagne. He has a Cabernet that just launched, and what else was it? Oh, the Savion. So it's Savion Blanc, but it's Savion Blanc with 2 C's. So,
Understandable.
yeah, so y'all should definitely get it. Shout out to Snoop.
Nah, I'm
Listen to
definitely
this.
definitely gonna get into it. But before we let you go, make sure you plug all your socials, where to find you.
Oh yeah,
all
so
that.
everything on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook is Kiara Lanice, KIARALYNISE.
And of course, for the people that can't read, it will be in the bio.
Oh yeah. Listen, sometimes people can't read. Fantasia.
They can't read, they can't listen. If you can't read or you can't listen, you probably don't need to be drinking wine anyway. You need to go to school or something.
Exactly.
So, yeah, so we're going to get on out of here. All the socials will be, again, in the bio below. Another thank you to Paul on the production, Nia keeping things together. New fact checker for the podcast. I'm going to make her have her laptop every single time we're recording so we can fact check things. Trav in the audience, Nakal in the audience. Thank you guys for showing up, even though you would be here anyway. Appreciate y'all. We out. It's another episode of A Session with Dougie. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.